Throughout the lore of Peter Pan, is there ever a hint that Peter is not the only one like himself? And yes, that does make sense. Welcome back to Peter Pan Lore and Peter Pan Facts with me, your Peter Pan hobbyist and enthusiast, using my Peter Pan hobbyist enthusiast brain and knowledge to bring you fun facts, lore, and trivia, talk about the world of the Neverland, the story of Peter Pan, and answer you guys' questions. And today we're going to talk about, is Peter Pan the only betwixt and between? The answer is probably not. To start off then, what is Peter Pan? Well, he is known as a betwixt and between. This is a name given to him by a bird called Wise Old Solomon. Solomon sees Peter for what he truly is, which is no longer a human, not quite a bird. He is a betwixt and between, somewhere of a mix of the two, between the two, stuck, unable to be one or the other, and ultimately does not retain his humanity and is no longer human. But is Peter the only one? Well, he is the only one we meet in The Little White Bird and the Story of Peter Pan as far as we know. However, there definitely could be others out there like him. I say this for two main reasons. Number one, because the manner in which Peter became a betwixt and between, it's quite possible for someone else to do that. And number two, the very fact that there exists a word for it, or a sentence for it, betwixt and between, implies that there are others, or have been others. It is true within the world of Peter Pan that Peter himself cannot see a difference between make-believe and reality, and he invents things off the top of his head all the time, especially when he's answering questions he doesn't know the answer to. He just blurts something out and then forgets. I don't think that Wise Old Solomon was doing this, however. Solomon looked at him and said, "Poor little half and half, a betwixt and between." So one of these is an assumption. The assumption that because Solomon came up with a word for it, that means that it probably existed before. That's an assumption. However, the manner in which Peter became how he is attainable to somebody else. Let's talk about it. In J.M. Barrie's lore, he says that all children were birds once before they became humans, and eventually they forget that they used to be birds, and so they forget how to fly. Peter remembered this while he was still very, very young, and so he could still fly, and he flew to Kensington Gardens. While he was there, he remembered that he's not actually a bird, but he still doesn't feel quite human, and therefore he's stuck and cannot be either. Solomon tells him that he's a betwixt and between, he loses his humanity, never goes back, and that's how he becomes, essentially, in a very big nutshell, the betwixt and between. This can be done by other people, so if you are that young and you can still remember that you used to be a bird and you can fly and you decide not to go back to your humanity, then you too could be a betwixt and between. And absolutely I believe that this has happened before, if nothing else then because, well, there's a name for it. So yes, I think that there absolutely could be other betwixt and between characters out there. We don't, as far as we know, meet them in any of J.M. Barrie's stories, however, they definitely could exist out there. What other questions have you got for me? Let me know any thoughts and theories, chuck them into the comments down below, and thank you for this one.